Hey guys, welcome to week 50. I am super excited. A lot has happened over the last few weeks, so I will do my best to update you on everything. I have a list here. Um, First thing that is happening is we're now in the middle of May and my allergies are going crazy. So forgive me if I randomly start coughing. Um, but we got a new puppy a few weeks ago. She's an Australian Shepherd puppy, and her name is Emma. She's super cute. I will put a picture somewhere for you so you can take a look at her. Everybody seems to love her so far. She definitely needs training. I've been having some issues with her nipping at Amelia's heels and like trying to jump on her. So we're working on that. The other thing that is new over the past few weeks is I have gotten into making goat milk soap. And it was something I always wanted to try, but I always thought it was super complicated. And so I never really gave it serious thought. But then I came across a goat milk soap week-long training essentially run by Sassy Soapers. And she went through exactly how to make goat milk soap. And she has a membership, which I did join. And it is super easy. Well, I guess not super easy, but it's way easier than I thought it was going to be. It's not complicated, I should say. So I have started making goat milk soap. I made my first batch last week. That was just straight up unscented goat soap, which I thought unscented was, going to smell weird or not smell like anything, but it actually smells really good because the recipe that she gives you is made from olive oil, coconut oil, and palm oil. And then you have, the goat milk and the lye, and it smells really, really good. So I made that. And then today I just made my first scented soap. It's black raspberry vanilla, and it's a pink and white swirl with glitter on top. And I'm so excited to see what the swirl looks like. But I have to wait for a couple of days for it to cure, and then I can cut it. But it smells so good. So I am all in on this goat milk soap making. It is so much fun. I love it. The only problem is that in my tiny little cabin currently, I have like nowhere to cure this soap. So the way that the bathroom is set up in here, it we have 12-foot ceilings in this cabin converted shed. So when we did the walls for the bathroom, we didn't do them all the way up, and we put boards across the top, figuring we would use it for additional storage. And so right now, since it's warmer, I don't have to use the wood stove. So I can put the goat soap up there to cure because it has to cure for 6 weeks. And I don't have to worry about wood ash. But if I were going to stay here over winter, that would not work. And plus, it's super tiny. So I really don't have any space. But I am going to start construction soon on a new house, which I am super excited for. It's been kind of a crazy few weeks because I've had so many different plans come up and then everything changes. Originally, I wanted to move this cabin because the whole purpose of building a new house was one, we needed more space, but two, when my late husband decided on location for this cabin, he put it on a downhill slope. So for the entire last year almost, we have been dealing with snow melt and all of the rain running right under the foundation, and it's straight on the ground. So it was originally meant to be a shed, and it's just on skids. It's plywood put on skids. That's it for our floor. Plus, I have a vinyl flooring down. So we had a lot of issues with the floor being super cold. I mean, we're northern Maine. It was super cold, and the floors were not insulated. So a lot of issues with the floors being really cold, condensation, mold. It's been a nightmare. So we needed to figure out a new foundation for this, so this way we can insulate the flooring and then put on an addition because I am going to have 4 kids very soon, and me with 4 kids in 300 square feet, plus with everything else I want to do, is just not feasible. So originally we were going to build a foundation, move the cabin, put on an addition. And then after talking to a few contractors. They were like, by the time you get through the cost of trying to move this cabin, why are you trying to save 300 square feet? I mean, it's tiny. Um, you might as well just build new, leave the cabin where it is, and then use it. And so I talked to quite a few people, and I was like, you know what, that makes sense because my mom wants to move up here. She was originally going to rent an apartment in town, and then we talked about her buying a motorhome to stay in over the winter because we're going to build her house next year. She wants a tiny house. Um, but all of that is like extra expenses on her. So we were like, you know what? We'll leave the cabin here. We'll do what we can to winterize it. We'll put hay bales around the outside of the foundation to insulate the floor a little bit better. And we'll deal with it for one more winter because it'll only be my mom in here. So she said that that's fine. So that's the plan. But talking about construction and starting a new house build, that is going to start hopefully the first week of June. I have somebody, fingers crossed, who says he's going to come up and clear the field across the way, which I think I put up pictures before, but we bought this property from a logging company and we're right at the end of the road. So when they were clearing, they cleared out maybe an acre and a half, 2 acres ish of trees, but they left all of the deadfall there. So in this field, there is a good couple of feet of rotted logs. So I need somebody to come with heavy equipment, clear it all out, and it's uphill. So I can put the house there. So that's the plan. And I picked out a really nice floor plan. Hopefully it'll work, fingers crossed. But I wanted to talk about the importance of talking to a lot of contractors and talking to a lot of people and just getting word of mouth. I know, especially where I live in northern Maine, everything up here is definitely word of mouth. I know I'm originally from New York. I'm used to finding everything that I need online because, I mean, that's what city people do. We find everything online, right? But up here, like, there's nothing online. And I think most people don't even know what like Google reviews are. It's all word of mouth. So it's so important before you start really any sort of project to talk to a lot of people and don't just settle on the first contractor that you talk to. Talk to a lot of different contractors, get a lot of different opinions, get a lot of different quotes, and kind of figure out what you can do. So don't just settle on the first contractor that you talk to. Get a lot of different opinions, get a lot of different quotes, because this way you will hopefully avoid getting screwed over by anybody. Um, so, other than that, um, I originally, last year, I was really disappointed that I couldn't put in a garden because when I bought the land, we bought it sight unseen. I did have photos, but the photos I had were in wintertime, so everything was covered with snow. So I had assumed that, again, this acre and a half of field was cleared. And we got up here and I realized that it was not cleared at all. And trying to do it by hand, I did try. I think I spent maybe a week on it and I cleared like a little area, maybe 4 by 4. So essentially, garden did not happen last year. This year, again, we're back in construction mode, and I was super sad that I wasn't going to have a garden again this year. So I went back and forth with different ideas for doing like container gardening, and then originally I was going to do raised bed planters that are on legs that can be moved. So this way I could have a garden. But I realized that I was going to put all of this money into raised bed planters or container gardening or whatever else the idea was, simply to satisfy my own need for wanting a garden when I was never going to use them again. Because next year I will have a garden because the field will be cleared and I can put in the garden that I want. So it didn't make sense to spend the money on it. So I just realized that we have an amazing Amish community up here and they sell all of their produce. It's organic. I might as well just put that money towards supporting the Amish this year, and I can can all of my stuff that way. But still super disappointed I don't get a garden. However, I did get Jasper signed up for 4-H. One of my friends up here, she started a 4-H group in the community last year, and I have been meaning to sign Jasper up, but I didn't. So she contacted me the other week. She was like, "Hey, you still want to get him signed up?" And I was like, "Heck yes, I do." So we went to our first 4-H meeting, and they planted potatoes in bags. And then we started seeds for our community garden, which I didn't even know that she had started up here. But we're going to be working on a community garden here in Amity. So hopefully that will alleviate some of my sadness for not having a garden. So we're going to put together this community garden, and anything that we grow, we're going to donate to the local food pantry down in town. So that's exciting. Um, Other than that, I have added the Homestead Project notebook photos to my last video blog. So if you were wondering kind of what that looks like, I did add photos. It's a new notebook, so there's nothing crossed off, so don't judge. Um, but it kind of gives you an overview of how I set mine up. But keep in mind that this is how like my brain processes things. Everybody is different. So set yours up however makes sense to you. Um, let's see, check my list. Other than that, we are getting closer to Atlas's arrival. I haven't gotten an induction date yet, but we're still thinking around June 5th. However, I don't think he's going to make it to June 5th. He is super low. And I had my last ultrasound this past Thursday, and his head circumference and torso circumference were measuring at 36 weeks, and he's already 6 pounds. And he's super low, and I've been having more Braxton Hicks in my pelvis region. So all the signs are pointing to he might not make June 5th. We'll see. And we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary of officially being here in 1 year. As of June 3rd, we will have been here 1 year. And that's just, it's crazy to think about how much has changed. Um, how much we got done, but how much we didn't get done. I think that's one of the biggest things on being a homesteader. Um, Especially I think a dreaming homesteader compared to somebody who is actually in the trenches homesteading. One of the biggest mistakes is that when you're dreaming, you have all of these big dreams, all of these big plans, and you go into it thinking, my first year I can get all of these things done. I'm gonna put up a barn and build a house and have this huge garden, and it's gonna be beautiful. And you're thinking that all of those pictures on Instagram and Facebook of people who have been homesteading for a decade, and you're like, my homestead's gonna look like that after 1 year. And you're basically just setting yourself up for disappointment. I know I definitely did that. We took on a lot last year, and I think it was just too much. So one of the biggest things that I would say to anybody that's dreaming of homesteading is keep your expectations realistic and only do one thing at a time. If you have to build a house, build a house. Don't do anything else. If you want to learn how to keep dairy goats, then learn how to keep dairy goats. Don't do anything else until you figured out that piece. Yes. So keep it simple. Um, and keep your expectations realistic. One of my favorite quotes from Tony Robbins. I'm a big self-help guru and I love Tony Robbins. He says that most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in a decade. And it's so true. That speaks to me as a homesteader and a homeschooler and a mom in general, that we set ourselves up for failure because we expect ourselves to do so much in such a short amount of time, and then we get upset when we don't get everything we wanted to get done. But we need to be realistic on ourselves and say, yeah, we didn't get done this first year, but you know what, in a decade it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to have done way more than I think I'm going to do now. And we just need to realize that and give ourselves some grace, I think, and be proud of what we do accomplish, because homesteading is hard and being a mom is hard. And I know, especially now that I'm a single mom on the homestead going into construction season, and um, Oh, I'm getting a few chickens back. I contacted a lady. I told her I want to pick up five. I might pick up six. And I wasn't going to get chickens because I rehomed everybody when my husband passed because I knew it was going to be too much being pregnant and going into construction and having the kids and everything else. But we are starting to have a tick problem, and we didn't have any ticks last year because we had like 50 chickens originally. So I am going to get a couple of chickens. Like I said, five or six. Um, I forget where I was going with this. Oh, being a single mom with the kids and pregnant, and now I'm gonna add some chickens on top of it. Like it's a hard work, and we need to, as moms, give ourselves some grace because we work our butts off every day. And I feel like we see all of these things on Instagram or Pinterest or Facebook, and we again put these unrealistic expectations on ourselves. But at the end of the day, we need to realize that we're doing the best that we can, and our children love us no matter what. As long as we are giving them love and we're telling them that we love them every day and we're doing the best that we can, that's all we can do. So give yourself some grace today, mama, because you deserve it. And finally, the last thing on my list was, now that I've been sitting on my butt for most of forever, I picked up this book I read years ago, but I wanted to reread it. It's The Call of the Wild and Free. And if you are a homeschool mom, highly recommend you pick it up and read it if you haven't already. It's a great book. Also, The Brave Learner by Julie Bogart is great. But other than that, my computer's about to die. So I'm going to turn this off. And I think that catches up on anything. I'm going to add photos somewhere. If I can figure out how to do it in the video, I will do it on the video. Either that or it'll be below on the blog post. And I hope you all have a fantastic week. And I will catch you up again as soon as I can, depending on when Atlas comes. Bye, ladies.